Sorry to break it to you, but it's impossible for someone who destroys your mental health to be the love of your life. Obsessing over someone isn't love, it's fear disguised as affection. Unhealthy love often feels exciting, dramatic, and profound, but hurts us in the long run.
I saw it all the time. Guys, they learn the lines, they practice the technique. The fact that they had to learn a performance to get a woman to like them just reinforced how unlikable they were.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll realize that it's better to be disliked for who you are than liked for who you are not. Then everything will change.
Being liked for who you're not is not being liked, right? Even if you get people to like the performance that you're putting on, you never get the satisfaction of being liked because it's not you, it's the performance. It actually backfires because it just reinforces that you have to perform more.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're not acceptable.
Yeah, I think fundamentally people mistake intensity of emotion for positivity of emotion. They ride the roller coaster of a dramatic and toxic relationship, and the highs are so high and the lows are so low, and they just think that, well, this is part of it, right? Because they're experiencing both extremes. It's like by far the most emotional experience they've ever had around anything in their life. And so they assume, oh, okay, well, this must be what it is. But it's not that. It's actually, there shouldn't be this like insane oscillation between the highs and lows. What you want to optimize is like the average baseline, right? That you return to.
I think this was the fundamental, there was many, but I think that this is one of the fundamental issues with the pickup artist movement, the way that it came about, that what it taught men who were struggling with women was that, hey, you can be really effective with women. You just need to not be yourself.
I saw it all the time. Guys, they'd learn the lines, they'd practice the technique, and a lot of them, they would start getting laid, and then they would get laid. Like, you would take these kind of awkward nerds who had never had a girlfriend, never hooked up, they'd learn all these tactics and stuff, they'd start getting laid all the time, and they'd actually feel worse about themselves. They'd actually get more depressed. And it was exactly this. It's like the fact that they had to learn a performance to get a woman to like them just reinforced how unlikable they were.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
I realized that a persona can't receive love, it can only receive praise. It's saying, hey, well done, Gladiator, not well done Russell Crowe. Well done Thor, not well done Chris Hemsworth. There's this sense that, if you're not being who you truly are, all of your successes will feel hollow because people aren't in love with you. They're just applauding the role that you play. And you're always, at best, the closest that you get is being 1 degree removed from your successes. And much of the time, you're 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees removed from it because it's okay. I, Chris, must work out what him, Mark, wants me to say when he said, hey, what do you think about the new Avengers movie? It's reverse engineer, what do I know about what Mark likes about the Avengers movies and the franchise, and what do I think that is predictive? I think it's good. Yeah, it is good. Yes, it is good. I knew it was good, and there's always this performance that you have on, which again, just reinforces you cannot be you.
It's also exhausting. It's like such a draining mental exercise. This way, I hate networking. I'm a terrible networker, and I think part of it is I feel like I have to do that a little bit. Like, I don't naturally see. This is why I don't have guests on my podcast anymore, because I'm not like
keeping on top of them.
I don't really care. Like, I'm not super curious about like, oh, I wonder what that guy across the room is like. Like, that's just not me. I'm like very low key, introverted. Don't need to like be everybody's friend, and I still feel that sometimes in professional contexts where it's like, okay, I'm in a room, I'm like, this is totally one of those rooms where I should be walking around like shaking everybody's hand, introducing myself, and I'm just like, and it's exhausting. It's like so fucking exhausting. So yeah, I can't imagine living like that. Like, it's okay when it's just like this one sliver of my life that I only occupy briefly, each year, but
to never switch it off when you get home.
If you're going through your whole life that way, and especially, if you're that way with your partner, if you're that way with your friends, it seems like such a miserable way to live.
It's the reason for, how would you say, front-loading being yourself in the extreme as early in a relationship as you think that person can tolerate.
As a man, you're not optimizing to get laid as many times as possible. You're optimizing to be happy with women. Like, that's the whole point of this. Like, whether you get laid whether you date and sleep with one woman or 100, what matters is your happiness. It's not like
you can get to that.
It's not the body count,
yes.
right? And like what you just described is, I'm just having flashbacks of when I was in that industry. Like I would say things like that. I'm like, yeah, dude, send them zebra articles, you know, like, because then that's going to show you if she's the type of girl that you're going to enjoy being with. And you know, guys would be like, well, good luck getting laid with zebra articles, you know, and they'd look down on it. They'd call you fucking beta and pussy.
Hang on, so you're prepared to sacrifice something that you know that you do want for something that you think that you do want.
Yeah.
With someone who doesn't actually want you because you can't be you in order to get the thing that you think that you want.
So the night I met my wife, I met her at 3 a.m. in a nightclub in Brazil. And within 5 minutes, I somehow ended up in a conversation about Russian grammar and how it was different from Romance language grammar. And she actually sat there and listened the whole time, dude. And she was like asking questions. She was like curious about it. And I remember that moment. I was like, holy shit, she's still here. Wow, we're gonna get along really well, you know? And but yeah, it's funny. It's like one of the first conversations she and I had.
Sorry to break it to you, but it's impossible for someone who destroys your mental health to be the love of your life. Obsessing over someone isn't love, it's fear disguised as affection. Unhealthy love often feels exciting, dramatic, and profound, but hurts us in the long run. Healthy love often feels dull, peaceful, and repetitive, but it heals us in the long run.
Yeah, I think fundamentally people mistake intensity of emotion for positivity of emotion. They ride the roller coaster of a dramatic and toxic relationship, and the highs are so high and the lows are so low, and they just think that, well, this is part of it, right? Because they're experiencing both extremes. It's like by far the most emotional experience they've ever had around anything in their life. And so they assume, oh, okay, well, this must be what it is. But it's not that. It's actually, there shouldn't be this like insane oscillation between the highs and lows. There of course are highs and lows with every relationship, like that's natural, but
not daily.
It's what you want to optimize is like, you know, the average baseline, right? That you return to. So yeah, I see that all the time. People mistake the intensity of the emotion or the intensity of the relationship for being a positive relationship. And I think part of this happens because just like the way our psychology is that the more intense the emotion, the stronger the story and narrative and meaning that we like place on that experience. When, if you think about it, like there are all sorts of emotionally intense experiences you can have that actually don't mean anything at all, right? Like I could jump out of a plane. That's gonna be a very emotionally intense experience. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. I can date a woman who drives me absolutely fucking insane and then have the best makeup sex of my life, and just like the airplane, convince myself that it means something, but it actually doesn't really mean anything. Like it took me way too long to figure out that like what actually means something is the quality of time spent together in the dull moments. Like what's the delta between your baseline and your happiness? Like what is your level of happiness during the dull moments when like nothing's happening, when you're just sitting around eating breakfast, you know, reading emails? Are you happy in that moment? Like that's what you should be measuring,
because that's what life's made up of.
That's the vast majority of life.
Yeah, life is made up of breakfasts at the kitchen counter.
Yeah,
checking
emails.
It's interesting to think about, okay, there's emotionally intense situations that don't mean anything. And I imagine that there's also emotionally mundane situations that mean a lot.
That mean everything.
Yeah, so the level of peace in your mind as your head hits the pillow at night. Never going to probably appear in a gratitude, not even going to appear in a gratitude journal, because it's just it's so obvious. Again, it's there.
Yeah.
It's like, I slept okay.
Yeah.
You know, because I wasn't worrying about something. It's like, well, fucking, there's a lot of people on the planet that wish that they could have that.
Yeah.
There we are. So peace, optimizing for peace. You know, not sexy. What about obsessing over someone isn't love, it's fear disguised as affection?
obsession is driven by a fear of loss. You know, when you're obsessing over somebody or ruminating over somebody, you're not actually loving that person. You're trying to prevent loss of that person, and those are two very different things. Loving is it's unconditional. It's done, like, I don't do things for my wife to like prevent her from leaving me. That's not the intention. You know, it's like I don't buy her flowers because I'm like, well, I better do this, otherwise she might leave me. Like that's not love. Love is you do something for her expecting nothing in return, just for the simple reason that you want them to be happy. Again, I think it's another area that people like mistake because they feel such an intensity of the emotion, and that emotion is directed towards a person and keeping that person as close to them as possible. They assume, well, this must be what love is, right? I'm in love with this person because all day and night, all I think about is like, how do I keep them as close to me as possible? And that's not love, that's fear.
There's a good insight from Visakan Verasmi. He says, I think he calls it the divorce paradox, which is why do people who from the outside seemingly have a perfect relationship, why do they end up breaking up? And it's because as a society, we haven't fully internalized the lesson that it is not the highs but the lows, and how you manage them that make or break relationships. Yeah. And outwardly, it's rare that you see two people arguing. They'll put the face on, they're having a good time at the wedding or at the dinner or whatever it might be. But then when they go home, they're fucking shouting and screaming and calling each other names and sleeping in separate rooms. Well, you don't see that. And how well do they deal with those bad times? So it's how you deal with bad times that are a better predictor than very few, I would guess, most marriages fail because of a surplus of poor rupture and repair, as opposed to a scarcity of super intense high experiences. You're insufficiently exciting to me is maybe there, but less than you are too low to me. You are too much of a drag.
Whenever I talk to people who are in a new relationship and they're like, you know, honeymoon period, really falling for the person, I always tell them, I'm like, that all sounds great, but let me know when you've had your first fight. Like, you really don't know what it's made of until you've had your first real fight about something. Because all the good stuff, I don't want to say it's easy to find, but it is relatively, it's not scarce. Like, you can find somebody who you have a lot of fun with.
You enjoy being happy? Hey, me too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you like the thing? I like the thing too. Let's do the thing together. Like, that's not that complicated. What's complicated is when all of her childhood issues come up and get triggered because of the thing that you said, because you've got this blind spot in your life that you haven't dealt with, and then you start really going at it. And it's really the quality, like you said, the rupture and repair, the quality of the fighting, like how communication always breaks down to a certain extent during fights, but it's like, how deeply does it break down? Does it get nasty? Does it get personal? And then similarly, how quickly do you recover from it? And do you recover from it, or do you hold it against each other? Do you start the scoreboard? You know, it's like, okay, it's 1-0, right? If the scoreboard's there, it's over.